Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This video is on the course of Food Technology BNN 40803 as part of Faculty of Engineering Technology, Department of Chemical Engineering Biotechnology, University Tun Hussein on Malaysia. My name is Rama Iswana. Welcome to my channel. In this chapter, we are going to focus on food processing technology or processing of foods. We will start from introductions to food processing and then followed by degree of food processing on a different video, and then on another video we talk about why are foods processed, and finally in the fourth section we are going to talk about what are some of the concerns of processed foods. We will leave section 5 on quality management consideration in industrial practices such as CGMP, which is current good manufacturing practices, and hazard analysis and critical control point on a different time. So by definition, processed foods are referring to the transformation of raw ingredients, essentially from the farmers, into various food products through mechanical, chemical, or biological processes. So it encompasses a wide range of techniques, wide range of methods, from a simple intervention such as washing and cutting to a more complex process or procedure such as pasteurization, fermentations, and so on. The importance of food processing is that the food industry try to provide a safe, nutritious, and convenient food products at all times throughout the year, and also through various regions of the world, various parts of the world, and therefore the foods would require a certain processing in order to be available for people all over the world, and while still maintaining the quality of the food as well as the freshness of the food. So food processing aims to meet customer or consumer demands for a variety of different foods with different flavor, texture, and therefore require a certain extended shelf life. Food processing also contribute to food safety and preservation, or rather it adheres to food safety regulation and food preservation in order to ensure that the food remains safe for the customer to eat within the period of extended period of time. Historically speaking, in the past, food processing has been going on, starting from the traditional food processing techniques such as drying, smoking, salting, fermenting, as well as curing. Although I don't know the difference between curing and salting, looks like similar things, to add some minerals to the foods, in order to preserve or to keep them not only enhance the flavor but also to keep the bacteria out. So these various technical methods were used to preserve food essentially for an extended period of time for storage purposes and also to enhance the flavor. So we've seen this in dried meats, smoked fish, as well as some pickled vegetables. Okay, that is the pictures on the left here shows in the early methods, or the traditional method if you like, and then on the left on the bottom here is more recent or more modern development in the 19th and the 20th century. So this method includes canning, pasteurization, and freezing of the foods as part of the food processing. So these methods have revolutionized food preservation as well as distributions to all over the world, allowing for a greater variety of foods to be made available all year round, whether it is in the winter time, summertime, whether you live in the North Pole or somewhere close by in that area, or in the equatorial area or Europe, wherever. Food processing allow us to package the foods and distribute the foods to be accessible for consumers all over the world. Modern food processing also includes technology such as extrusion, high pressure processing, and aseptic packaging. So we've seen some advancements or evolution of food processing technologies, in particular in the era of fourth industrial revolution, industry 4.0. We've seen a lot of automation in food manufacturing, in not only in food but also in all sectors of industry, agriculture, automotive, etc. So food industry also made use this automation technology in order to streamline food processing and increasing the efficiency while reducing the labor cost. There are some relative new preservation techniques such as vacuum packaging, modified atmospheric packaging, controlled atmosphere storage, etc., which have improved the shelf life and quality of the food. Biotechnology also plays important roles, such as genetically modified, although personally not in favor of eating genetically modified foods. And other technology would be enzyme technology, has expanded the range of foods available and with improved nutritional contents. So the future trends, we will expect more and more healthier processing methods, such as the use of low temperature cooking techniques, minimal processing or minimal steps, minimal number of steps in order to process the food, in order to maintain the freshness as well as the nutritional quality of the food. Tends to gain more popularity in these coming years. Sustainable practices in food processing, such as the one that reduce the waste, the one that utilize renewable energy sources, are becoming more and more prevalent. So what are the roles of food processing technology in food industry? Well, number one would be to improve the production efficiency. Okay, so food processing technology can enhance the production efficiency by enabling mass production and having a standardized quality of all the processed foods. It also allows better utilization of resources and reduction of waste through a careful planning and careful processing methods in order to allow optimize utilization of the resource and reduce the amount of waste to the environment. Food processing technology also aim to meet the consumer demands. Therefore, it plays an important role in order to meet this demand for convenience, for variety, as well as for quality. Food such as ready to eat, although I'm not in favor of eating ready to eat or ready to cook foods, provide convenience as well as save time for consumers. Various processing techniques help create diverse range of food products that are appealing to customers with different tastes and different dietary preference. So what are the importance of food processing for human nutrition? Well, food processing technology aims to preserve the nutrients, aim to retain essential nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants within the foods. Therefore, we have techniques like flash freezing, vacuum sealing, and controlled cooking methods in order to help maintaining the nutritional contents of our foods. In addition to that, food processing technology also allows for an enhanced accessibility, make the food more widely available, accessible, including off-season, meaning even though there is not a season for certain type of food being produced, but due to the extended storage, food storage technology, it allows us to provide making the food available throughout the year, not only the time but also regional, in anywhere around the world, including regional delicacies. It also allows for creation of fortified food, meaning an enhanced, usually vitamins with enhanced with vitamin or fortified or iron, such as vitamin enriched cereal, in order to address nutritional deficiencies in certain group of population. So processed food can be stored and transported for long distance, and therefore making them available to more people from different locations all over the world. So there are several degrees or level of processed food. The first level is the lowest and also the best, I think, in my opinion, is called unprocessed or minimally processed foods. So by definition, unprocessed or minimally processed foods are those that have undergone little to no processing at all, and therefore it retains their natural state. As you can see here from the pictures on the left are some examples. This food may have been subject to cleaning, trimming, cutting, but not as there is no significant alteration of their original forms. As you can see here from the left is includes fresh fruits and vegetables that has been washed but not cooked or altered. Cooking itself is considered simple processing, as you can see the next level, basic processing. And the other example will be whole grains, rice. Although we cannot eat rice raw, we must have to be processed, at least boiled and cooked. Quinoa and wheat berries that have been cleaned but not refined. Fresh meats, poultry and fish. Some people, especially in Japan, maybe sushi, they can eat this fish raw. And of course, it must have been clean and portioned, but not seasoned, or maybe seasoned with a little bit of salt or cooked. What are the characteristics of minimally processed foods or unprocessed foods? Well, they maintain natural states. There is only a minimal changes from the natural states of the food, so the food will still retain its original taste, its original texture, and of course its nutritional content. There is no additive, there is no preservatives or artificial ingredients, although I don't mind a little bit of salt personally, in my opinions. So this food may have been subject to physical processes such as peeling, peeling with an L, chopping, blanching, and etc. to prepare them for consumption, so human consumption. The benefits, well, it maintains high nutritional value, due to minimal loss, of vitamins and mineral during the handling. There is also low or none addition of salt, so sugars or unhealthy fats. The foods, of course, retain its natural flavor and quality, and therefore providing a fresher taste and high quality. However, there are some disadvantages or challenges, is that these unprocessed or minimally processed foods tend to have a limited shelf life compared to those that have been processed, due to the lack of preservation techniques in the unprocessed or minimally processed foods. It requires careful handling and storage, in order to prevent spoilage and maintain quality. So in this storage, handling, we try to minimize the foods being in contact with water, which otherwise with high water activity, that the bacterial microbial activity such as yeast, fungus can grow and spoil the food itself. So it may require more preparation times. Yeah, one of the disadvantages, require extra preparation time and efforts before consumption, such as washing, peeling, and cooking. The limitation includes availability. Yeah, it has a limited availability, okay, especially for seasonal fruits and vegetables. It also have restricted convenience for busy consumers who may prefer ready-to-eat foods or ready-to-serve foods. So they have to eat, or they have to do some preparation in order to eat this freshly or minimally processed foods. Other disadvantages or limitations include higher costs relatively, okay, due to a short, limited supply, and also due to storage requirements. The next level of processed food is basic processing, basic processed food. Okay. By definition, basic processed food have undergone simple processing techniques to alter their form. Okay, this is the keyword there: alter their forms. Okay, or enhance their preservation while retaining many of the natural characteristics. Okay. So these food may include common processing methods such as cooking, yeah, freezing, drying, and canning. Okay, so the example, as you can see on the left here, okay, includes cooked and frozen vegetables such as peas and carrots, pasteurized milk and dairy products such as cheese and yogurts, as well as canned food such as canned tomato, canned beans, and corn. Dried fruits and nuts also part of the basic processed food. Okay, so things, food like raisins, apricots, and almonds. Okay, that is usually dried. Okay, before reaching on the shelf. Okay, the customer is considered example of basic processed food. So basic processed food include some processing, basic processing such as cooking, boiling, steaming, baking, and roasting. Okay, in order to prepare food for consumption or further processing. Other processing include freezing, okay, basically to preserve the food by slowing down the growth of microbes such as bacteria, yeast, fungi, and slow down the enzyme activity. Okay. So it's commonly used for vegetables, fruits, meats, and prepared meals. Other techniques include drying, okay, basically remove the moisture from the foods in order to inhibit microbial growth and restrict enzymatic activity. So this food often include fruits, vegetables, some herbs and spice. Okay. Other techniques include canning. Yeah. So in the canning usually also involves some heat treatments. Okay. Try to kill most of, if not all of the bacteria or microbes. Okay. So that the food can have an extended shelf life. We talk more about the canning later on. So typically includes fruits, vegetables, some type of soups, as well as sauce. What are some advantages of basic processed foods? Well, it enhances preservation and shelf life of the food compared to minimally processed food or unprocessed food. And it offers greater convenience and accessibility as the food are often ready to eat or very easy relatively to prepare. Reduced food waste through preservation and extended storage. So in other words, by doing some processing, simple or basic processing, we can reduce food being wasted to the environment because we can preserve the foods, okay, using various techniques that just mentioned, and extend the storage and shelf life of the foods, okay, reduce the food waste. The disadvantages includes possibility of loss of some nutrients due to processing and handling. This includes loss of vitamins and mineral. The processing may contain addition of sugars and salts, and in some cases preservative. Okay, and therefore it affects the our health, okay, and also the taste. It is also possible the process or basic processed food have changes in flavor, changes in texture, as well as the appearance compared to freshly prepared food. The next level is moderately processed foods, as you can see here. By definition, moderately processed food have undergone intermediate level of processing involving techniques that are beyond the basic method, but not reaching the complexity of highly or ultra processed food. So this food, as you can see on the left, okay, may include addition of preservations, flavoring and flavor enhancers, and some coloring, and some level of refinement. So the example on the left is fermented foods such as yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkrauts, some pasteurized fruit juice and smoothies, and cured meat such as ham, bacon, and salami, as well as processed or fortified whole grains such as flour and pasta. These moderately processed food include some processing such as fermentations. Okay, by definition, it basically involves biological process, yeah? Breaking down the food substance using microorganisms like yeast and bacteria. And as a result of these breakdown processes, biological processes, it enhances the flavor and nutritional content, and may also produce beneficial bacteria or probiotics that we call it. The other common techniques of moderately processed foods is pasteurization. Okay, so this includes heat treatments up to 62 to 66 degrees C for 30 minutes, or we can go higher to 71 degrees C for 15 minutes if you want. Okay, so this heat treatment aim to kill the harmful pathogens while retaining most of the nutrients as well as flavor, yeah, in milk, in juice, and other liquids. Other technique includes curing and smoking, which basically preserving and flavoring the foods, okay, typically meats, okay, and fish, through the use of salts, okay, that's what it's curing, and smoke. Okay. Other curing agents to provide distinct flavors and extend shelf life. Fortification and enrichment is also an example of moderately processing techniques for foods. These include addition of essential vitamins, minerals in order to improve its nutritional contents. Okay. These usually apply to grains, cereals. Okay, we've seen a lot of fortified cereals as well as fortified beverages. What are the advantages of moderately processed food? Well, the main one is convenience. Moderately processed foods offer a balance between convenience and naturalness, as you can see on the left here. Okay, we can relatively see some degree of freshness or naturalness. Okay, they often require less preparation time to eat. Okay, less time, less preparation, and less effort. Okay, then compared to minimally processed foods. Therefore, making this moderately processed food more practical choice for selected number of consumers. In terms of nutritional quality, some nutrients may be lost during processing, but because of the fortification and other technique, we can maintain or enhance the nutritional value. Moderately processed food also can provide some health benefits such as probiotics, yeah, beneficial bacteria in the fermented foods. The challenges or disadvantages, of course, we seen some concerns regarding the use of preservative and additive that can affect one's health, the health, which is another important aspect we will discuss a little bit later. Therefore, it needs a mindful consumption, okay, to maintain the healthy diets and avoid over reliance, over dependence to processed or moderately processed foods. The last one, the highly processed or ultra processed foods, as you can see here on the pictures from the left. By definition, highly processed or ultra processed foods are those that have undergone extensive processing, containing multiple steps and multiple added ingredients such as preservatives, artificial flavoring, sweeteners, colorings, etc. So these foods often involve complex industrial processes and are designed for convenience and extended shelf life. So the example on the left here, we can see some ready-to-eat meals such as frozen dinners and microwavable meals. Okay, all type of snacks, foods such as chips, cookies, and candies, sweetened and carbonated drinks, okay, beverages, as well as some processed meats such as hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats. What are the characteristics of highly processed foods or ultra processed foods? Well, it usually contains a combination of refined ingredients. That is why if you pick one of these canned food from the supermarkets and then look at the back of the label, the packaging, okay, you can see a list of ingredients, okay, not only the main ingredient but also a list of additives that has been added, a list of artificial flavoring, coloring, as well as sweeteners and preservatives added into this canned food packaging. So it typically have a high energy density, okay, also have an elevated level of sugars, salts, and unhealthy fats, trans fats usually. It is designed for convenience mainly, and it also designed for quick preparation, okay, and immediate consumption. Okay. So common type is pre-packed snacks, such as chips, crackers, and snack bars. Packaged baked goods such as cake, cookies, and pastries. Instant noodles, okay, is considered highly processed or ultra processed foods. Okay, canned soups, quick cooked meals, as well as ready to drink beverages such as sugary drinks and energy drinks. There are of course some health concerns from these highly processed or ultra processed foods. Regular consumption of highly processed food is often associated with an increased risk of various chronic diseases such as obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases, okay, including, I believe, some of the one that is associated with reproductive organs dysfunctional. So it is, even though I'm teaching this subject, it does not mean I'm encouraging you guys to eat highly processed foods. I'm just letting you know, okay, some of the benefits and disadvantages of certain types of foods, that have undergone minimally processed food, okay, up to the highly processed or ultra processed foods. As you can see here, for the highly or ultra processed food, there are some health risk associated with the consumption of these foods, okay, in particular various chronic disease such as obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases. These highly processed ultra processed foods also lack of essential nutrients and fiber, while also high in calories. Okay, it can lead to obesity and overweight. These highly or ultra processed foods also have the potential for addictive like eating behavior. Okay, addictive like eating behavior. Due to its high level of sugars, okay, if you eat this food, you know how this work, we trying to send a signal to our brain, even though you already eat just now, but the brain said we're still hungry, okay, we have not eaten, and basically it disappear quickly. It makes you want to eat more and more of this highly processed food, snacks, etc. Not only sugar, but also salts and artificial flavoring. What are the implications for nutrition? Well, these ultra processed foods can contribute to poor dietary quality and may displace healthier whole food choice, okay, as our diet. They may contain low quality ingredients and additives. Yeah? So in summary, the implication for nutrition is of course not good. Okay, eating healthier, wholesome foods, okay, in our diet is much more better than eating highly processed or ultra processed foods. Therefore, some consideration for consumer, okay, they should be mindful of their food intake, okay, of these highly processed foods, and prioritize more on the whole or minimally processed foods. Always read the labels, okay, and choose food products with less or fewer additive or no additive at all would be better, and healthier ingredients in order to manage consumption. So, why foods are processed by the industry, by the food manufacturers? Well, there are at least 7 reasons of why we or industry need to process the foods. The number one is certainly to prevent, an effort to prevent, to reduce, to eliminate, okay, the infestation of microbes in our foods. Okay, it's very important to control the growth of microbes in our foods. Okay, this should ensure the food safety by reducing the risk of foodborne diseases that caused by bacteria, virus, and fungi. And by doing this control, we hope to preserve the quality and the nutritional value of our foods, okay, in order or before reaching, okay, when it is reached the customers. By doing this control, we also hope to extend its shelf life and maintain the palatability of the food product, or the look, or the palate, the appearance of the foods. We also tend to, okay, we aim to adhere to food safety standards, okay, and regulation in order to comply and protect public health. What are some of the methods to control microbial growth? Well, one of them is canning. Okay, heat treatment in the can, yeah, during the canning of the sealed container. Okay, such as at 121 degrees C for 3 minutes at 10 psi, okay, can kill microorganisms and inhibit their growth. Canning also an effective, yeah, method for long-term preservation for a variety of foods such as vegetables, fruits, type of meats, and also soups. Other methods is pasteurization, which is basically heat treatments, okay, that I explained before, 60 degree, 66 degree, okay, for 30 minutes, okay. This apply to liquid and food to eliminate reduced pathogen, commonly used for milk, okay, juice, and some solid food like eggs. Refrigeration also slow down the growth on the productions of some bacteria, yeast, and molds, while maintain its freshness and quality of perishable foods, such as meat, dairy, and organic produce. Freezing stops microbial activity by lowering the temperatures below freezing points, okay, in order to preserve foods for an extended period of time, making it suitable for long-term journey, okay, or storage. Other methods includes addition of salt, sugar, and acids in order to inhibit microbial growth. Packaging technologies such as MAP, modified atmospheric pressure storage, and allow us to control the level of oxygen and other gases, in the atmosphere, therefore minimizing or stopping the growth of microbes. Irradiations using UV or any other light source in order to kill or inhibit microorganism growth on our food, such as spice, fruits, and meats. Second reason is to prevent microbial growth or toxin production by microbes. So focus more on the toxin productions. Okay. So the uncontrolled growth of microbes can lead to not only food spoilage, okay, but also loss of quality and reduced shelf life and the possibility of toxin production. Okay, certain microbes can certainly produce toxin that can be dangerous and cause food poisoning and other health-related issues. Therefore, it's important to control the growth of bacteria in order to protect the public, protecting the public health by preventing the foodborne illness, okay, caused by this toxin, microbial toxin. The food manufacturer also try to maintain the safety, the quality, and the palatability of the food products for consumers. Okay, one of the reason to process some of the foods. We try to adhere to food safety regulation and food safety standards in order to ensure consumers' health protections. What are some of the methods to inhibit microbial growth? This is similar like before. This include drying, okay, to produce dried fruit and vegetables, herbs and meats, okay, or salting, addition of salts in order to create high osmotic pressure, drawing out the moisture, and therefore inhibits microbial growth. So effectively preserving meats and fish and vegetables. Acidification, basically lowering the pH by addition of acids such as ascorbic acid, lactic acid, etc. Okay, so this is happening or typically happen in the pickling, okay, pickling in vinegar or fermenting with lactic acid bacteria. Smoking is also another method, which is a combination of drying and exposure to smoke, acting as a preservative to stop microbial growth and therefore stop toxin production. Using preservatives such as sodium benzoate, nitrates, and nitrites, okay, in order to inhibit microbial growth. Although I'm not recommending or encouraging the use of preservative or eating foods containing preservative due to these various chemicals that may be dangerous to and cause various health hazard in the long terms. Fermentation is a natural process that produces acids and other byproducts that inhibits the growth of pathogen. Vacuum sealing is also another method of inhibiting or the growth of microbial growth, bacteria, by removing the air from the packaging and therefore limit the exposure of the microorganism to oxygen, available oxygen, and therefore inhibits their growth. The third reason why foods are processed is to stop or to slow down the deteriorative chemical or biochemical reactions. So this reaction include enzymatic reactions. Basically, foods become browns, due to the enzymatic browning. When enzyme react with the substrate in the presence of oxygen, causing the color of the food changes. In fruits and vegetables such as bananas, apple, etc. Other chemical biochemical reaction is oxidation, which from the name it's expose the food tissue to oxygen and therefore causing oxidation, leading to rancidity, in fats and oil. This oxidative damage can also affect the vitamins, the pigments, coloring, natural coloring, and other compounds in our foods. Excess moisture can promote the microbial growth and biochemical reactions and resulting in food spoilage. Moisture can also cause changes in texture, as as well as structural integrity of our food, leading to a loss of quality. Temperature, okay, can accelerate, high temperature can accelerate chemical and biochemical reactions, okay, up to a certain degree. Okay, this includes the Maillard reactions and lipid oxidation that you've seen in the previous video. Okay, Maillard reaction, production of caramel, as you can see, caramelized, okay, reaction of protein with sugar, and producing a distinct scent and smells, yeah, which to some extent may be okay for aesthetic reason as well as taste. Temperature fluctuation can affect the stability and quality of our food products. Some techniques to control the biochemical or chemical deterioration include vacuum sealing, okay, in which case we basically remove the air from packaging and therefore limit exposure of the microbes to oxygen and therefore slow down the oxidation and enzymatic reactions. Use of antioxidants such as ascorbic acids, BHA and BHT, although I'm not in favor of the use of this preservative, okay, even though it is intended for antioxidant, yeah, they are synthetic antioxidants, okay, BHA or I believe it is a butylated hydroxyanisole and BHT is butylated hydroxytoluene. So these are synthetic and tend to be a petroleum-based chemical and therefore may have a negative health effect to our health in the long runs. So I prefer to use natural, okay, antioxidants such as ascorbic acids to protect fats and oil from going rancid and preserve colors and flavors of our foods. Other techniques is adjusting the pH, okay, adjusting the acidity of foods in order to slow down or prevent enzymatic reaction or microbial reaction. So this happens during pickling, pickle of production, and fermentation and acidulants, the use of citric acids, lactic acids, etc., in order to make the sour taste in our foods, and therefore to control the chemical or biochemical deterioration. Other techniques include controlled atmospheric storage, okay, where we adjust the composition of gas in the storage environments, and therefore in this case we reduce the oxygen and therefore slow down the deterioration that we mentioned before, chemical, yeah, browning, etc., oxidation. So it's happened commonly used for fruits and vegetable, although it will make the cost of these vegetables more expensive, okay, and other fresh food. The fourth reason why the foods are processed is to maintain or improve nutritional properties of the foods, okay, by preserving the nutrients, okay. Processing methods such as freezing, blanching may be a rather unfamiliar names, okay, where basically we scald the food in boiling water and then quickly transfer it to ice water, okay. So do that repetitively. Blanching, canning can help preserve essential nutrients, okay, such as vitamin and mineral in our foods. Vacuum sealing and modified atmospheric packaging, MAP, can also protect the foods from oxidation and therefore help maintain the nutrients level. The use of food additive, even though I'm not in favor of the use of the additive, they can be, yeah, such as the use of emulsifier, stabilizers, okay. Emulsifier basically to prevent to solubilize, yeah, fats from making, to prevent fats from making lump, okay. Flavor enhancers such as MSG, monosodium glutamate, can help maintain food structure and nutrient distribution. Okay, one of the use of these emulsifiers and stabilizer can help distribution of nutrients. Although the use of MSG here is also not recommended in the long run, okay, due to the various associated diseases such as blood pressure, high blood pressure, etc. Fortification and enrichment techniques. Some food may lose nutrients during processing, but due to this fortification and enrichment techniques, we can compensate this by adding some extra vitamins and minerals such as irons, yeah, back into the foods. Okay, so this is commonly includes fortified cereals, dairy products, and some plant-based milks. Other techniques is to minimize nutrient loss, okay, by doing minimal cooking times, yeah, and minimal reduced temperatures in order to retain some the water soluble vitamins and other nutrients. Some strategies in order to retain nutrients during processing include flash freezing, where we rapidly or quickly freeze the fruits to very low temperatures in order to preserve the nutrients, the flavor, and the texture, while minimizing the formation of ice crystal, which can cause cellular damage in our foods. Other approach or technique include control cooking methods such as steaming, microwaving, sous vide, yeah, which is a new term for me as well, which is basically cooking foods in vacuum sealed bags at low but precise temperature. Okay, low but precise temperature in order to preserve the nutrients. Minimal processing techniques such as blanching that we just mentioned before, yeah, in heat application and then quickly into low temperature, yeah, ice, okay, and pre-cooking to quickly deactivate enzymes that cause the loss of our nutrients. We can also reduce the number of processing steps in order to minimize the loss of our nutrients, vitamin and minerals. The fifth reason of why foods are processed is to increase the storage or shelf life of the foods. Okay, there are some preservation techniques that we already mentioned a couple of times, yeah? Canning, freezing, dehydrations. Okay, in some cases we also food industry, food manufacturer also use chemical preservation such as addition of sodium benzoate, sorbates, and nitrates, okay, in order to inhibit spoilage. The use of antioxidant that I mentioned before, yeah, ascorbic acids, tocopherols, okay. BHT is toluene, okay, can prevent oxidative damage, yeah, then cause rancidity. Other methods such as pasteurization, which is basically heating the liquid of milk, yeah, to kill pathogen and extend the shelf life. Irradiation using UV or other ray, typically UV, okay, ionizing radiation to kill bacteria, parasites, and other pathogens in order to increase the shelf life. Vacuum sealing, removing the air oxygen from the packaging to limit oxidation process and microbial growth. Number 6, the reason of food being processed are to make the food more palatable and attractive. Okay, this may include enhancing the flavor by addition of seasoning and spices, okay, such as herbs and other type of seasoning in order to enhance the taste as well as the aroma. To make the food more palatable and attractive. Addition of flavoring, in which case we incorporate natural and artificial flavoring to improve or standardize the taste. Marinades and sauce can also be used to infuse food with rich and complex flavors, okay, to make the food more palatable and attractive. In order to improve the texture, food manufacturers often use emulsifiers, okay, such as soy lecithins to blend ingredients and improve mouthfeel and consistency. Use of thickening agents such as starches and gums, yeah, to achieve a desired texture in sauce particularly as well as in soup. The use of tenderizing agent, yeah, tenderization, such as marinating and aging the meat to improve the tenderness and texture of the food. Okay, is also part of the techniques to make the food more palatable and attractive. Enhance appearance by addition of coloring agents such as whether it is natural or synthetic coloring to make the food more visually appealing. Garnishing, okay, in which we add some decorative elements such as herbs and vegetable to improve the presentation of our food for our customer. Glazing, yeah, if you want to make donuts more glaze, yeah, applying glaze coating to give the foods, okay, an attractive shine and appearance. And the last one, number 7, is to make the foods for special group of people. Okay, this includes babies, babies food and infant food, as well as older people, pregnant women probably also. So food for infants, processed to be smooth and easy to digest and often fortified with essential mineral and nutrients. Formula milk, okay, formulated milk, specially designed for infants, providing a balanced nutrient or nutrition and essential nutrients. Special people with special dietary needs, such as gluten-free products, food made without wheat or without gluten, okay, such as grains, for individual with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity. Lactose-free and dairy-free products. This is an alternative for people with lactose intolerance or allergies to dairy products. Other special dietary needs include low sodium, low sugar foods that are tailored to meet these dietary restrictions or health concerns to some people. People with high blood pressure, for example, or diabetes, okay, tend to choose these low sugar, low sodium, okay, food products. Certain ethnics, cuisine from different culture, okay, may require processing of the foods to replicate the traditional dish and flavors from various regions of the world. Authentic ingredients, use of specific spice and seasoning, as well as other ingredients to create culturally appropriate foods. Other type of food in the functional and healthy foods includes protein-rich foods, and these are protein that tailored for athletes usually, okay, those seeking high protein diets to build their muscle, for example. Vegans and vegetarian products for vegetarian, for plant-based alternative for non-meat eaters. Nutraceuticals, in which food are designed to provide specific health benefits beyond the basic nutrition. Okay, finally, what are some of the concerns in processed foods? Well, the number one concerns of consuming processed foods are the risk on our health and diets. Okay, so highly processed food, especially, tends to have a low nutrient density. Okay, many of the processed food are high in calorie but low in essential nutrients, which can lead to poor overall nutritional contents. Nutrient fortification. Some highly processed foods are often fortified with vitamins and mineral to improve nutritional value, and therefore this is probably the solution. Okay. The other concern is excessive sugar contents, where they tend to add extra sugar, okay, in order to this result in high level of added sugar, contributing to excessive sugar intakes and causes all sorts of health problems such as diabetes. So excessive sugar consumption is associated with obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases. The other concern is the high salt contents, especially sodium, where processed food often contain high level of sodium, which can lead to hypertension, high blood pressure, and other health issues. Therefore, the recommendation is for the consumer to be aware and manage the sodium intakes, and in which case this is important for maintaining the health of our health. The other concern is high fat contents, particularly saturated and trans fat, yeah, where processed foods may contain unhealthy type of fats such as saturated or trans fats. This is a fat that is synthetic and that are synthesized in the labs rather than natural fats, which can increase the risk of heart diseases. So the healthier alternative, some processed foods are made with healthier fats, e.g. monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fats. Food additives, yeah, this is also common. Yeah, common additive includes preservative, colorants, flavor enhancers, and stabilizers. These are the type of additive that are incorporated in processed foods. This create potential risk, because some of these additives may have adverse health effects in sensitive individuals or even in a healthy individual in the long run. Portion control, large portion. Processed food are often packaged in larger portion, leading to overeating and excessive calorie intakes. And therefore, it is recommended for people to be mindful in their eating diets and be aware of the portion size, okay, in order to manage calorie intake and nutrient intake. The second concern of highly processed foods is the risk associated with foodborne illness or food safety issue and the presence of contaminants. So common pathogens, bacteria such as Salmonella, poisoning, E. coli, certain strains of E. coli, of course, viruses such as norovirus, parasites such as Trichinella can pose food safety risk. And other sources of contamination include contaminated water, unsanitary equipment, and improper handling, which can introduce foreign pathogen to our foods. Yeah. So this is some of the risk of some of the concerns in consuming processed food, which is the risk associated with foodborne illnesses or food safety and the presence of contaminants. The contaminants can be chemical in nature, such as pesticides, yeah, for improperly washed organic produce. Okay, it can harm. Okay, it can cause harmful effect. Okay, due to the presence of pesticide residue. Heavy metals. Okay, food contaminated with heavy metals such as lead and mercury can, of course, cause long-term health problems. Other type of contaminant is foreign objects, fragment of glasses, fragment of metals, plastic, etc. may accidentally be introduced to our foods and therefore causing all sorts of problems. So this physical contaminant can pose a choking hazard and other health-related risk. Therefore, it's important to control, yeah, the hygiene, okay, and compliance with the regulatory regulation. Okay. So for hygiene in food processing includes food handling or proper food handling, where safe handling practice can prevent contamination and ensure food safety. Sanitation includes regular cleaning and sanitization of the equipment and the facility in order to reduce the risk of contamination. Compliance with regulation, food safety standards includes, yeah, adhering to the local, national, as well as international standards in order to ensure food safety. Activities such as inspection and audits, okay, regular inspection audits by a regulatory agency can verify compliance and quality control. Education to consumer, okay, for safe food handling, okay, on proper food storage and food handling can prevent foodborne illnesses. Labeling requirement of the food products, yeah, by the industry, where we require transparent labelings, okay, in order to help consumers make an informed decision and choices about eating these processed foods. The other concerns, okay, of consuming processed food is environment, yeah, negative environmental impact and health concern over packaging material. Okay, these include plastic waste, where especially a non-biodegradable plastics material, okay, which is commonly used in packaging. This material can contribute negatively to environment, okay, causing environmental pollution and take centuries to decompose. Microplastic, which is basically a breakdown of plastics material, leading to microplastic that contaminate ecosystem and therefore pose a health risk to wildlife. Landfill pressure. Single-use packaging. Single-use packaging includes disposable packaging, okay, disposable packaging material uh, that can cause, if they fill the landfills, it can cause space constraint and environmental degradation. It also tend to have a long decomposition times, yeah, of this plastic material. Many packaging material can take long time to decompose and therefore causing a long-term environmental impacts, yeah, negative impact. Carbon footprints, yeah, production emission from the manufacturers. Okay, manufacturing packaging material often generates significant greenhouse gas emission, okay, such as carbon dioxide. Transportation, shipping of heavy and bulky packaging material can therefore also contribute to carbon emission. So what are the health implications of this packaging material? Well, health implication of packaging includes the use of the presence of BPA, yeah, very famous, very common, bisphenol A, found in some plastics and can lining. Yeah, this is can, yeah, not able to lining. This is a can food, can linings. BPA may lead into food and pose health risk, and therefore such as cardiovascular, diabetes, and sexual dysfunction. Other chemical is phthalates in the plastic packaging material. Yeah, phthalates. This is common in plastics, and this chemical can disrupt hormones and pose other health concern. However, the future trends towards sustainable packaging, yeah, there are positive, yeah, trends towards in the future in the use of sustainable packaging material. Okay, such as some of the pictures here shown on the left, yeah, biodegradable and compostable material, which is packaging made from plant-based material that can break down naturally and relatively quickly. Recyclable packaging material can use, which is basically the use of material that can easily be recycled in order to reduce waste to the environment. Light weighting, reducing the weight of packaging material can lower the resource use and transportation emission. This is why some of the plastic that we see in the supermarket tend to be very light, very thin. Yeah, this is for this particular reason. Other innovation includes edible packaging, packaging made from food ingredient that can safely be consumed, and eliminating the waste. Reusable packaging, okay, encouraging the use of refillable containers and durable packaging to reduce the waste. So these are some of the positive developments, yeah, in the future, okay, including maybe one could recycle the paper material to create an edible paper, which I believe it's already in the market somewhere, maybe in the US, yeah, to use edible paper material as a packaging, yeah, and in which case, yeah, things like donuts and other type of foods, okay, we can just eat directly, okay, the foods with, including the packaging.